Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vanaheim playoffs. My name's Double A. I'm here with Semantics.
Hello, everybody. We are here in the semifinals. We're gonna have Helix Prime versus Vulnus Mortale, and should be an exciting one to watch. Um,
Definitely. We are going to see Vulnus Mortale invited to come play here in this upper Vanaheim division. They were the number one seed from Midgard. They have since played and been eliminated, but they are coming in here. Pretty hopeful to see what they can do in this upper division. Went undefeated in the regular season, and now coming in here as well to hopefully do their best.
yeah, absolutely. They're gonna see if they can redeem themselves here and go ahead and get a win on the board. Looking at Gilgamesh for our first ban coming out for Helix Prime, followed by the Klidna for Vulnus Mortale.
Yeah,
Pretty
both
standard, I would say.
Yeah, both pretty standard. Kind of some jungle threats. Cleo in the soul lane as well, but both really strong. And an Ardio as well, getting a banned out by Helix Prime. Something that's just really annoying to play against, in my personal opinion. Pretty decent over in solo, and something that's definitely warranted for a ban from Helix Prime there.
Yeah, you could say solo and jungle for the first two, and then you could say solo for the first four. Honestly, so here it is with the Cthulhu coming out with the fourth band overall here, followed by Daji. Like there seems to be a, a solo and jungle bands coming out for both sides. They just don't like the looks. And here it is, rounded out with the Shiva, solo or jungle. Really, that's the story of these bands.
Yeah, you can obviously tell what the meta's leaning towards. Like you said, that Shiva's going to get banned out. Daji as well, really annoying with her ultimate. Yeah, Shiva, more of a jungle pickup in my mind. Really good pickup. If you can get it, obviously they do ban it out here, but just really annoying to play against. And you're still kind of acclimating to him and becoming into the game. So I think that's going to
Right.
be a good pickup or a good ban for sure.
Absolutely. Bologna picked first overall for Helix Prime, and yeah, if I'm in ranked, I tell people to ban Shiva while I'm banning Cleo. Like those two just literally never touch my games whenever I'm playing, and I prefer if everybody just gets those out of the way. Another one that people like getting out of the way is Bologna. Very common band, honestly, very strong. Followed by Bastet and Persephone, locked in for Vulnus Mortal.
That's a three really strong picks right now. Bologna, a premier solo laner right now. Bastet as well, fallen not completely from grace, but still a really good pick in the jungle, just not as deadly as she used to be. And then Persephone as well, really good in the mid lane. An ult bot that can be super annoying. You get stuck in there. I know I played a match recently where I was a Kepri and I just kept getting ulted by Persephone. It's like, what can I even do? But uh, it'll be fun to see how we can see fun to see Arxel over there on Vulnus Mortale on the Persephone.
Right. Alongside with having a very strong team fight in Persephone, uh, high pressure, just super pressure. She does a whole lot of damage. Those plants basically cover the entire lane. If you throw three of them at the same time, you can't really play really into her that strongly. You just kind of have to play back. Medusa and Ganesha looks as if the duo lane is going to go ahead and get covered here for Helix Prime. Medusa obviously seen some nerfs along with many others in the nerf apocalypse, and Ganesha I think always just a pretty strong pick overall in support, and then another one Yamoja.
Yeah, that's an interesting pickup. We don't see that very often. Vanaheim being kind of one of our higher divisions, it's going to be fun to see. Um, I believe it's Havix there on support for Vulnus Mortale. So Yamoja, kind of that high skill god. If we can see Havix utilize her and those ultimates correctly, it's going to be really fun to see how we can wall some people in.
Right, Yamoja, one of those with a very high skill floor, where it takes some comfort to see any kind of real things happen. If you're not comfortable with Yamoja, then oftentimes you're just kind of throwing there, honestly, because like I said, high skill floor. Notably, Ganesha can get out of her ult with a dash because he has the ability to dash through walls, through god-made walls. So that's going to be interesting. It is interesting that they choose to pick Yamoja into a Ganesha, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if that's maybe there isn't they don't have that knowledge there, but I know I didn't, but I've
Oh,
been
until
playing for
just
the
right now?
longest. But yeah, thanks for the information. I'll be using that in the future. But definitely gonna be fun to see that. And Ganesha, I think as well, like you said, is always a strong pickup, and maybe even stronger into this Vulnus Mortale team.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like to play him into the like of Kabrakin, Yamoja, Ymir. It's always funny. Thor. It's like like Thor is like more than usual, honestly, because like a lot of people actually don't even think about that.
Sure.
Like Ganesha just like goes right through, and it's pretty fun seeing people kind of freak out about it. Oleron uh, picked, so we've got the two Yoruba gods. Yeah, for Vulnus Mortale here. Go ahead and locked in. Likely going to be the ADC and the support there. The dual lane Yamoja Oleron.
Yeah, Oleron. You don't see that. We had that slight meta of the ADC, mage ADC. Oleron was kind of really good in that moment. Not as good anymore, but still something that can be crazy good if you get the right people on it. If you can get a Yamoja ult into an Oleron ult, it's gonna be pretty scary. I mean, that's gonna be a lot of bodies on the floor. Oleron just gonna be able to kind of shred people down. I assume gonna go into that attack speed build as well. Um, and we do see some other pickups on the other side, Morgan Le Fay and Camazotz. I think both pretty decent pickups. What do you think, Sam?
I think Morgan Le Fay is not very strong early, honestly. She has obviously that self pill, and she doesn't do a whole lot of damage when it comes to just her one and her three. Not very strong early, but she does have a good team fight presence. Like I said, self peel. Then the Camazotz himself, pretty safe. A lot of sustain. Got the escape with the jump and the bat out of hell ultimate, and then finishing out uh, the the picks for the Vulnus Mortale Hill is Chalk. Um, Strong in lane, a lot of heals, a lot of sustain. Uh, Big, also another big team fight ultimate. Big knockup, big silence for the team. Notably strong in lane, not so much in team fights, but it does. He's going to be laning against a Bologna as well, and with the um, I apologize with the the shield and the sustain. What's the not the glad shield, but the other one. The one that berserk shield, the one that everybody's
Berserker
building on the
Shield.
basic attack warriors. Yeah, yeah. Bologna is likely going to have a little bit of pressure there, so might as well get a big pressure god in solo like Chalk as well.
Yeah, definitely trying to be that lane bully for sure. I think looking at this, um, it's hard. Both teams have a decent draft for sure. Not really a weird pick other than that Oleron, so it's kind of off-putting. Not that it can't be really good, um, but it'll be fun to see. I think I'm gonna go with Helix Prime for this one, just because they're that more traditional meta picks. But should be fun to see. Sam, any opinions on these two teams here?
I do think they have their damage spread out a little bit better. Like you said, there's going to be a Persephone mid into a Oleron ADC, so two magicals there for the main damage carries. On the other side, you have Morgan Le Fay and Medusa. So you're seeing a little bit spread out the damage. So I actually like the and also as I mentioned before, Ganesha able to freely get out of that Yamoja ult. Maybe that can make an impact there. So I actually like Helix Prime's uh, picks as well.
All right. Number one seed in Vanaheim versus the number one seed in Midgard coming in here, playing in the Vanaheim division as well. Should be a good one. Let's go ahead and kick it to a Be Right Back screen, and then we'll get the game up for you guys.
Hello, we are back with Animosity Smite. I'm Mercury. We have Kerbis here on the board. What do you think of this set today, Kerbis?
I am very excited to watch this set. I don't get to see enough Anaheim teams due to the kind of split of the Vanguard, so I'm pretty excited to watch this playoffs here. Taking a quick look at all these little builds. Do you see anything that pops out to you right away as a little bit odd?
The
recurring.
immediate thing is this mannequins on the solo run. While that gives him better trade potential, he's going to be lacking on the MP5 sustain. I'm actually curious to see how this goes level 3, level 4, where he starts lacking mana. Going to be much harder to fight. Instead of that, pretty standard. We do see a very excellent poke here from both laners. This Medusa's getting a cleave, but getting poked out as well. Do see pressure for the side of Vulnus Mortale. I think level 2 first. Excellent one there from the Alderun. Getting more poke onto this Ganesha.
I'm assuming, yeah, the mannequins pickup must show that he was, you know, pretty well aware that they were going to win that lane, even against the Medusa. And he just wanted to possibly slow some movement speed, hit those basics. We're going to really make or break that mannequins pickup is whether or not he actually hits all those autos or not, for me.
Even one thing to note regarding not even just the trading is he definitely clears a lot quicker as well in the jungle. We do see this Bologna versus Chalk matchup. What are your opinions on that there, Kurbis?
You know, Shock's a pretty decent lane bully, but Bologna more so. I think with this current patch that they're playing on, I think that Bologna is the stronger of the two in pretty much every aspect of the sustain as well as the team fight later. Shock does have that really awesome silence and knock up, but I think Bologna is just such a backline bully, and if you let her get out of
They have to
control...
stop you there. We do see some excellent stuns and a gank from the Camazon hits as one. Do an excellent soul on the solo run. Olorun's trying to fight back with those mannequins. He lands jump. Excellent kill on the Medusa there onto the solo run. They are looking for this Umoja as well. Umoja plants a bubble, does not get out in time. Excellent gank there from Good Vildan.
So we do see the first blood as well as the second kill go over to that ADC, which is fantastic to see. I mean, I would have loved that Camazotz to at least get one for his effort, but the first blood going over to that ADC, getting him that much closer to 20, that much faster, I think is a pretty huge pickup and a good quote-unquote cringe gank there.
Definitely very, very huge for this Medusa. Gonna be getting that crusher on and so much quicker, and flat pen on ADCs is so volatile early. Gonna be very good into boxing this whole run. We do see this blue looking at getting invaded possibly here. Camazotz is here to step up, but Bologna cannot step up. She has very minimal HP and opted for the beads instead of teleports, so not gonna be able to contest this.
I think this should go over the over into the side.
They do
and
secure it actually.
Yeah. Good job over there by Camazotz to secure that blue for his Bologna, which is very important. Gonna have to hold the thought again. We do see an ult come out right away from both of the mid laners.
Unfortunate. The Persephone tried to time the Morgan ultimate there, and she did not fire her last shot, so she kept the CC immunity. Very well
I
played
gotta
for
give
both of the mids there.
good props to that Morgan holding the ult just long enough also to keep that CC immunity.
At the stop you there, we do see a counter engage. Camazotz jumped in. Both dashes down from both the support and the jungler. They're just going to pick up these mids instead, get a little bit of farm on the back seat.
We are seeing a lot of aggression by this Camazotz. He seems to be kind of everywhere at the right time and able to sustain his team kind of in these fights so far really well. We do see the supports already rotating out here towards mid. A little bit early at the 3-minute mark, but they seem to want to put the pressure both into the center.
Very excited actually to see how this Umoja plays later in the game. I feel like one of her most underutilized abilities is that 3, the Riptide, I believe is what it's called. That ability is so powerful, and it's honestly, I think, her best ability outside of the ult, obviously. And she's... Havix is pro, and he's proved rather, he's already capable of using it. He's saved his team quite a few times already with the burst, I believe, a couple times at mid. And I think if he had the opportunity to use it early in the gank, he may have been able to save his ADC as well.
Yeah, Umoja, everyone always tells me that Umoja's biggest, I guess, feature is the 3, and that's what makes or breaks a good Umoja player. So, like you said, I'm going to see how well he can pilot this and use those to the ability and maybe show me exactly what makes a good Umoja player here or not.
A little bit of poke here and there in mid. And yeah, honestly, just you can lock in team fights. It's gonna have to drop that fun. Actually, we do have a lot of fighting over here in duo. Oloran is poked up, but does manage to get a bunch of pressure. Secures that side camp there over the left side.
I've had a lot of casters mention how they're always envious when I get to cast these Vanaheim or Asgard games because they're always like, well, these games will be a lot slower. But for every game that I've ever casted for Vanaheim, it is non-stop action from both of these teams, and that seems to be what we're getting here as well.
Yep, it's just a lot of fighting across the board. Not too many kills for how much we've been seeing, just a lot more of a scuffle. We do, speaking of scuffles over here, the solo lane, Bologna is hitting that stage where she just gets to fight and fight. Chalk does have that 1-3 pressure for the most part, but this stage of the game, once Bologna gets his Berserkers online as well, which I can only assume she's building into, the Chalk is going to have a very, very difficult time dealing with her. We'll have teleport though with breastplate, so we may have to keep an eye on that. Maybe kill potential here for the Chalk.
Yeah, Bologna, if she holds her ult, should be relatively safe. I mean, the block stacks from her one basically make her unboxable, as well as the disarm in my mind. So, I mean, however, I've been saying that Bologna is the stronger of the two, but all this match we've been seeing Chalk pushing this Bologna under tower and pressuring her blue. So, pretty good play out of this Chalk so far. Avotek, I believe, is a relatively new player for the Vulnus team, so interesting to see how he plays out.
Yep. Do you see this Medusa sniffing out this gank from the emoji, just playing safe? Purple's not up, so that he has literally nothing to worry about here. Just getting free farm.
Yep.
Mids do seem to be consistently going toward the side of Helix Prime. This Candace is just on top of farm in terms of neutral farm. Getting the right mids as well. I believe he got one of those. Excellent poke there as well as the Bastet.
Both jungles building pretty much the same thing. Bombas into Jotuns for that early cooldown and penetration.
This
Emoja.
Emoja does seem to be thieving away a few of these stacks. This is sniffed out though from the mid and support. They are rotating. Unfortunate.
Maybe just trying to bob and weave through those basics and the mannequin procs over there.
Ganesh is looking for a cage, cannot find it. His dash is down, so he does have to be careful with this Emoja ult. He can get cut off here between the Emoja and Oleron ult. Two very huge, very big teamfight ultimate abilities.
Until you just mentioned it here, I wasn't thinking about that area control between the two of them. Yamoja can lock them down, and then Oleron can slow them and just basically be free kills, or separate it for two different team fights. Those are huge area impactful ults that they have on the side of Vulnus Mortale.
I will say one of the biggest things about Smite or ideologies is big circles win games, and I do think Vulnus Mortale are packing in the big circle department. Obviously, boxes are not necessarily circles, but they're huge. Then you have Persephone ult, obviously, Chalk ult as well, all huge, either silence or AoE disruption abilities. They do just a bunch for a team fight. Emoja ult alone just can instantly swap a team fight just like that, even at a deficit.
Yeah, and I mean, Arxel's specifically a really good Persephone player. In fact, it's probably one of his best picks by far. He says he's a Thoth fan main, but he's not. This man is through and through Persephone main, and he usually shows it. Yeah.
Unfortunate, the Ganesha does get caught out there trying to D-ward over the red buff wall. Excellent body blocking there from both the Emoja and the Bastet. Catches the Ganesha dash. Very well played.
We do see Cutlip die. Cutlip is subbing in here for Helix Prime. He is a Jotunheim, I believe Jotunheim mid support main. So he is a little bit familiar with this role, but he is playing a little bit out of his depths.
A little bit off point there in the stun, but a lot of poke there on the Morgan Le Fay. Very good for the Emoja. And yeah, touching on that, like, even being a Jotunheim sub and pretty much two divisions above where he's supposed to be, he's still playing rather decently for the league he's in. So, interested to see how he plays. Farai does manage to pick up a solo kill and Soul Short over in the dual lane, even with Hecate.
Persephone ult.
Does
manage to catch.
Do you see Emoja wall dropped here as well? This should be Farai going down. Still, that's a solo kill and that's split gold between them, so I'd say Farai still pluses off of that. And
Not to mention,
also,
he did pull both their ults for that fight.
yes. Emoja ult is 140-second cooldown. It's one of the longest ultimates in the game, if you're not counting like Morrigan. And Persephone's not too long. I believe it is just flat 90, if I'm mistaken, or if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
again, that's a solo kill into a character with both Ring of Hecate and Mannequins. It's so hard to box. You see an excellent gank over here. Nice counter ult into this Chalk here. Bologna manages the stun, and we do see Kemet's ult dropped as well, and they get the pick.
I think that was really well timed by both that jungle and Bologna. Bologna saving the ult just long enough for the CC immunity of Shock's ult to diminish, and she ended up getting the stun, allowing enough damage to come out and picking up one extra kill there for the jungle. Very well played by those two.
Kema also blinking in, saving his jump. We do see a little bit of rotation here on this Oleron. Oleron doesn't have ult, so he's going to stay locked in this cage. You see Prots going out from the Ganesha, does not manage to give him enough protection to save him. Still could be a kill though, that's an excellent knock-up. As is one soon. Oh, very unfortunate the heal does manage to save the Oldoran there. Very good Persephone ult as well, keeping him locked down, so this Oldoran can just loop him. Working the Faye is caught out here over the left side, she does have to force her ult then. Sorry, Curvis.
No worries, I'm holding my thoughts. There was a fight after fight after fight, and we do see them right away picking up gold. Good recognition by the team.
You see bees forced out there from the Bologna, from the Chalk. The set does manage to whiff her ult there, a bit unfortunate, but they do get the Gold Fury on the side of Vulnus Mortale. Pressure starting to pick up a little bit under a 3k gold lead here on the side of Vulnus Mortale. It's quite nice.
So right away, just as we were talking, I was taking a look at the builds since I had a moment to think. I was looking, the Bologna's second item, Frostbound, is not something I typically see, nor do I think it's probably the most ideal pick for a character who's getting pushed out of lane a little bit right now. What do you think of this Frostbound second item?
I wouldn't necessarily say she was getting pushed out, it's more of like, she's getting stalled. I think Bologna is definitely looking to just push lane as hard as she can, and Chalk also kind of does that, but is an anti-auto attack character at the same time. Has that 40% attack speed, so that actually stacks up to 80% if he has the axe down. So it's very difficult for her to box into that with just her auto attacks. But Frostbound allows her to chase pretty much everyone on this team. It's also an auto attack reduction, attack speed reduction, excuse me.
Yeah, you know what, Recurry, you just taught me something. I did not know that it double stacks.
Yep,
and I am a shock
well.
main. Wow. We're learning. Me and Double A are learning things everywhere. Look at our low rank showing today.
We do have a bit of a scuffle over here in the Pyromancer, actually. Ganesha is looking for a bit of something. He does have an excellent knock-up up there. Ferrari does get soloed, Oldoran dropped over on the duo lane. This is still a 4v4 over on this Pyro fight. Not really anything coming out of it too far. So Ganesha does have to be careful as Persephone, one of her main niches is killing tanks that do not have beads. As you can tell, this Ganesha is not level 12 yet, has not been able to opt into beads. This Persephone, if any CC goes down on this Ganesha, just drop an ult and that Ganesha is just dead. You see a gank over here on this set, or Bologna, excuse me. Drops a jump and they're going to drop. Speaking of the Persephone ult, excellent Persephone ult there all around, makes the rotation, does manage to shut down Ganesha.
Helenu is able to snag a kill as well from that fight in the favor of Helix Prime. It is a 1-for-1 engagement at this point.
Yep, both supports are dead, but Pyromancer does seem to be going the way of Vulnus Mortale. They do pick it up, and they're going to split off, spend their gold from that team fight.
Yeah, it looks like the gold tick over the last Gold Fury, shifting over into the favor of Vulnus Mortale. Definitely, the neutral farm just going their way helps it shift, but it's nothing out of reach. We're only talking 25k right now. Only evenly split. That's 500 gold more in each pocket. That is a T1 item above everyone else.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe most of this gold diff is probably in solo, and more than likely ADC. This ADC, the Oldoran, excuse me, has been farming, albeit dying to this Medusa. I feel like the Medusa's been winning the trades. He's just getting so much more farm over this Medusa.
Yeah, right now I definitely agree. I think the skill level between these two ADC carries over there are pretty the same. It's 1-for-1 trades back and forth between the two of them. We do see an engagement. Medusa ult and beads pulled by Oldoran.
She does manage to secure her purple there, committing all of that resources at least, but it's a very good pickup. Her ult will be up for the next purple or a team fight if she wants to take it.
And correction, actually, Oldoran did not have to pull beads there. He did just flip.
Any comments on these builds? One thing I am noticing as we do see Camazot's poking this Umojo a little bit is Oldoran's opting into what I can assume is Rada Tahudi. You see Ganesha ult dropped here actually on the dual lane side. Oldoran ult dropped as well. They are just running away with this 4-man rotation over on the dual side from the side of Helix Prime.
Really good self-control by Vulnus Mortale to not over-engage as a 4-man gank was coming. They just used the ult to safely get away, but hold that thought as Arxel just absolutely deletes Helenu.
Arxel actually just setting up an ambush there. Excellent play from him. Ganesha does get caught out with a couple stuns. Excellent Persephone ult into this Ganesha. Lockdown again, that's just proving the power of Persephone. This character has so much squishy potential, so much tank potential, just shutting down both types of characters very easily. Mojo's taking that pressure to just steal away a few obelisk stacks, getting that extra gold online once the obelisk gets filled up, and quite a nice DPS stick to boot for that Mojo.
Yeah, especially if it does go the way of the support, which I would be in favor. Was that a beads there we saw? Just on the tail end? We did see
I
Medusa
believe,
just pop
yeah,
beads.
Medusa beats. Yep.
You were mentioning builds, yeah, Tahuti. I was taking a look. Nothing super out of the ordinary. I mean, Chiron's coin second item for Morgan Le Fay seems a little bit interesting, but not necessarily a bad item. It's just I'm used to the double flat pen stacks, but still getting some percent pen early is not a bad thing.
I think I can see value in it. You're getting percent pen, like you said early, and I think the biggest stat of almost any build, obviously,
Movement
but
speed.
especially mages, not just the movement speed, but MP5, being able to cast almost at any point in time. If you don't have any form of mana sustain or just a mana pool, in the case of like Bokuto, it's going to be very difficult to just stay in fights for more than a couple casts. We do see Ganesha ult dropped here for Secure on this Oni Fury. Helix Prime do pick it up. Persephone ult is dropped, only manages to tether the Camazot, or excuse me, the Medusa. They do
Good
get
heads up play by Helix Prime, noticing that nobody was there. They had the 5 stack, and they could quickly burn that down, especially with the Ganesh ult. Was a little bit risky. Arxel's Persephone ult was still available, but clearly they got it before anybody was even able to show up.
Gold lead was cut down back to about 5k. You see Bastet jumping in. Excellent counterplay and silence there from Cudlip, keeping the Bastet from being able to cast. We do see Morgan ult forced, however. I will say this matchup in duo, Oleron, I feel, as the mage ADC at least. The mage ADCs obviously are just very difficult to box once you get these 2-3 items online. They just completely demolish normal hunters. But Oleron especially, Oleron just kills people, and then you have this mannequins on top of that.
I think that Mannequins tends to be a really good play here, especially for the amount of boxing he's been doing. It's definitely coming out huge value for me.
Backpedaling on that though, I do feel as if Medusa is probably one of the best hunters to be picking into this magical ADC. You have a lot of nuke right off the bat, and more importantly, you have that anti-heal that allows this Hecate to just not get any value for the most part. So 50% on that spray.
And her CC immunity into his ult
Yes.
does allow her to get away a little bit freely if she's caught out, if she has it available, so I do agree. I think Medusa is just in general a really strong ADC pick right now.
Definitely, that burst on the one did get nerfed a patch ago, but still very, very potent. Camazotz is getting super
goodness.
poked on the mid. Oh my. This Persephone does drop her cage here. Do see a cage down, I believe, on the Ganesha. It's very hard to see in the team fight. Oleron is dropped as well. We do see a big knock up. Oleron gets 1 pick, 2 picks. Cage is dropped from Yamoja here. Do you see this Chalk chasing out the Morgan? The Morgan has no way out getting poked out. Morgan does drop her peel, but she is more than likely going to get picked off here from the Beset and the Chalk. They're chasing. We do see a fight in mid as well. Oleron and the Emoja are splitting off to go to Pyromancer or even possibly Fire. Morgan Le Fay does finally fall. Very, very well played fight from Vulnus Mortale. Very clean. I do like that a lot.
And good heads up play, noticing they just took out 4, and instead of going for the Pyromancer, they do opt for the Fire Giant. We do see a TP coming in here. That'll most likely be the Shock.
We do see Bologna starting to make her way over, but more than
She will
likely
not
gonna
get there
make
in
it.
time. Nope.
Vestetta is just going to start ripping away all of this jungle from the side of Helix Prime, so they just don't have any form of farm to catch up with. Pluto's
Yeah.
going to get the back camps, and that's about it.
Arxel being the main carry for this team of Vulnus Mortale and having him on one of his most comfortable picks, the Persephone, and probably one of the most oppressive picks as somebody who's played against it. It is doing an amazing job, but not to note sold short over there like we talked about quite a bit. He's doing an amazing job with that Oleron. Did get 2 picks there in that team fight, even with the Shock Silence able to protect them, and the Emoji ult kind of zoning him even more comfortably.
Yeah, that Persephone ult just caused the initial wave of chaos. Everybody turned. The Ganesha got caged, obviously, but everybody either turned to break it or turned to run and beat. And after that, Oleron dropped his ult and got, I believe, 2 or 3 picks pretty much just off of all of the chaos. Nobody was looking at him. He just got to freely walk in. It was really well played from both of the backliners on the side of Vulnus Mortale.
Yeah, as we're talking about them, you just had the damage charts up there, but we saw the Oleron top at 12 with Arxel on the Persephone there at 9k. Morgan Le Fay also, though, 7k top of her team. We are seeing a pretty even split, kind of more in the middle section, but the 2 carries there for Vulnus Mortale definitely holding on top.
I will mention, I think one thing with this Oleron damage is it's more been chip on this ADC over in the dual lane. I feel like it's a lot more of poke, back, sustain, poke, back, sustain. A lot of this Persephone damage has been just immediately a kill. She's one shot, I think, 2 or 3 different people. Half of her ults have just pretty much made this Ganesha die because he gets caged, he can't get out. He did opt to mention to not go beads here, got a sprint instead, which is not a bad pickup to be fair. There's the Mojo Soul after the ult. Big cage here dropped from the Ganesha as well. Camazot's ult does get forced and they do just want to back off. But backpedaling on that sprint, oh my goodness.
Never mind, not backpedaling. A pickup there for the solo there, and Weezer Conundrum takes sold short.
Huge emoji cage here. We do see believe that was the... Oh, I actually don't even know who was caged in there, but Persephone does fall. This is quite chaotic in this fight. We see Camazot's forced out, Ganesha as well.
Vulnus chasing into the Phoenix Tower, still up. Weezer Conundrum here on the Bologna, really doing good job for his team, picking up 2 kills before the start of this fight, and now looking to maybe clean something up.
A lot of Frostbound's getting a lot of value there after the end of the fight when cleanup starts to become more important. This Bologna can just chase people down super hard.
That does look like the end of the combat, but we did see some highly aggressive plays out there by Vulnus Mortale, which does suit pretty much their playstyle.
I believe Sold Short took a 1v1 into Array. I don't remember. It was... Yeah, okay. It was Morgan, excuse me. But he did take a fight over there, managed to down Morgan and still almost pick up the other person. Does get down from the Bologna. Bologna's just gonna shut that character down almost all the time. It's an anti-auto attack character, which is very good on her end. And then
basically, as long as that Oleron doesn't have ult, Bologna should be looking to chase him down, or at least pulling the ult for safety. But without beads, Bologna might get caught if she is chasing that Oleron. So it's a 50-50 trade if they want to take it. Bologna does tick over to 20. We are seeing some level difference here. The solo, like you mentioned, big difference kind of over in the duo lane. However, 2 levels for both the carry and support.
Yep, do see Gold Fury pulled here, which is a very good call to be honest. There's nothing else on the map outside of maybe the Obelisk. Obelisk is actually down, excuse me. So Vulnus Mortale just get free gold. It's extra gold in the pockets. 10, oh actually, excuse me, 11k diff. That is 2,000 per person. That is almost a full tier 3 item. It's actually insane.
Yeah, we've seen a steady decline, or a steady incline, I guess, in the favor of Vulnus Mortale here for the gold. Damage charts, after those last team fights, we do see Morgan Le Fay MLF bumping up with 12k damage. She was sitting at 9, so that was about 3k from that team fight alone, pushing him past Arxel, who got instantly deleted, so no damage from him that turn.
Yeah, definitely in fairness to this Morgan, she has a lot more AoE damage, and she's going to be putting out a lot more in this backline where it's a lot harder for Purse to get her damage off safely, at least. She's going to drop her ult on the tank, then probably maybe get one here or there on the jungler that's diving her, and then outside of that, that's just not even close to as much as a Morgan 1 to a Morgan 3 and to a Morgan ult, especially.
Yeah, and like you had said, Persephone having to use the 3, the main escape, as well as the main engage, as well as her main damage combo, does limit her safety and puts her kind of in a dangerous position.
Chalk is getting poked out super hard from the Frostbound there. That's going to be a bit of a dire situation if they get gone on here. Do see the Camazot's looking to start a fight. Ganesha stepping up to possibly look for a cage. Excellent silence there. Vulnus Mortale does just want to disengage here after the Chalk gets poked out. It is good to mention Chalk does have TP, persistent TP to mention at that, so he can come back in just immediately if he needs to.
Did opt for the redstone as well to take away the attack speed of anybody that he does manage to hit with those abilities.
More importantly, he does get the protections as well, and a character that has 3 AoE damaging abilities is going to be having those protections up all the time. Do see a hard fight here. Camazot's ult is forced out, does not manage to pick up the backliner Persephone, but Belle's going to pick that up instead. Persephone just drop her ult on this Bologna, but there's just a whole another team fight in the backline. This Oleron is starting a fight. Bologna does pick up the Persephone in the backline. Oleron's just trying to fire shots out, try to pick up somebody. Bastet does pick up this Bologna as well, and Chalk does manage to pick up the Medusa, so there's just picks all around traded out for this Persephone.
Really close. The Weezer Conundrum almost taking out J2 on that Bastet. It was a very close HP threshold, but luckily the support for Yamoja did back and kind of assist Bastet in getting that kill. And it looks like Helix Prime isn't going to opt to show up for this Fire Giant, just going to give it over into the favor of Vulnus Mortale and maybe get some farm in the meantime, as the Kamazots is the only one available right now.
Probably the safer option, as it's still not EFG, there's still a mid tower up. They still have time, right, to start looking to try to catch up a little bit more in gold, start getting your mid, start getting your jungle with these starters, some of these more important carries that just get very important value at hitting level 20. Whereas you see Vulnus Mortale, every single member of their team outside of their jungle, which probably won't be long, is going to have their starter. Which are huge power spikes.
Yeah, like you said, very good call to just go for that XP, because right now the biggest make or break for Helix Prime is going to be these level and gold difference. You know, gold making less of an impact once they all are 20, so that race to 20 is even more important for Prime right now.
We do see some posturing over here on the duo side jungle. They're starting to walk toward mid. I'm not sure where they're going to want to path. If I'm Vulnus Mortale, I'm just going to take this mid tower out, and then try to look either for a pick on some of these people that are playing a bit more out, or just slam the left side Phoenix, or excuse me, duo lane Phoenix. I'm Vulnus Mortale. They're looking to pick up this mid tower, which is very good.
Now let's see if they go left. Are you a mind reader?
We'll find out. It is definitely the more optimal Phoenix. Here in mid, you have 2 angles, or excuse me, 3 angles actually to watch. It's much more difficult for your support play and for your backline to play. The jungler can come from any side practically. Solo side Phoenix works too, albeit it's on this side of Fire Giant, so it's not as optimal. You want the fire minions to be as far away from fire as possible, so people have to walk to the other side of the map to clear those out, and then also have to walk to fire, so it's just get a lot of free minion poke on your Titan.
Especially when persistent teleport is not picked up by the solo laner, meaning that
Yep.
they cannot be the one who is going over to protect. So I would agree. We do see an initiate, though. I'll hold that thought.
Excellent silence from the Chalky. Is just going to nuke this Morgan. Olaran ult is dropped in the backline as well, and Persephone ult, so we just do see most of the AoE on the side of Vulnus Mortale. No picks, unfortunately. Yamoja ult is dropped in the backline as well. You see Bastet get caught out from the Kamazots and the speed buff. Very good pickup there on the side of Helix Prime.
1-for-1 jungle. Kamazots ends up coming up ahead. J2 falling over to the fact of good Veldet.
Again, it's still very difficult to pronounce, I can understand that. But you see some pressure here on the mid Phoenix, actually. No ultimates up on the side of Vulnus Mortale or Helix Prime, so this is all raw abilities. A lot of poke here on this Olaran. Olaran is still fighting back. He has a lot of lifesteal. Donna May, she does get out. Kamazots does pick up the Chalk, though, that was diving the Phoenix. Very good pickup again on this Kama. Kama's just getting in there. Oh my goodness, he gets decimated on the side of the Persephone. Persephone does have a Deso proc, so she gets her ult back again. Lands it on the Ganesha. Excellent. 3 tethers, I believe, there. And Morgan does have the 4-sided beads. Olaran is pushing in, and I believe this
Looks like
might
they're
be
going for the
game.
end. Yeah.
Excellent
Bellona with the
Bellona ult, but I
ult.
don't think it'll be enough. She is getting shredded here. Does have to back off. Yamoja's pulling in again, so this Olaran is on. Morgan ult is dropped. She is nuking out this Olaran. Olaran is getting super poked.
Good
May have-
focus on the favor of Helix Prime here. Definitely trying to get out those damage dealers so they aren't able to poke the Titan. It looks like they're successful for the time being.
It's excellent staggering as well, those ults. So dropping all of it at one time, if you don't get a kill, you almost guaranteed are not going to be able to defend there. But dropping a Bellona ult, putting out a little bit of poke, spending your HP. So your Morgan could come in right after as you're walking back to Fountain, drop her kit, so you Bellona can heal, come back in, and just keep trading back and forth, back and forth. It's much more efficient that way. And if you can just stall out longer, you're buying your team time to get up. Possibly defend.
Agreed. That was a very high level play by both of those players. Really well done. And Bellona tanking a lot of damage, and I'm seeing huge value out of this Frostbound in both of those fights, and she was still able to get out. We do still see a 17k gold difference here from the teams, but like I said before, the closer and closer that all these guys get to full builds in level 20, the less and less that gold difference makes. So Helix Prime really just looking to buy as much time as they can to possibly look at, I guess, fighting for this EFG, because if they lose that, it's probably going to be the end
Yep, EFG is definitely the big game changer. You get that extra tower damage, extra Phoenix damage. You break more backdoor protections, which is really important. And you also get more power, more sustain. You get practically everything enhanced on that fire. That's why it's called Enhanced Fire Giant. Just kind of the game ender. I will mention, like you said on builds, we still do see a couple starters not even finished on the side of Helix Prime, so it's going to be a really, really difficult fight to take here. Also do see
full
Relics.
builds 100% over there,
Yes.
and I wanted to note before everyone there holding 2 wards each, a sentry as well as a regular, so they have good vision control as well. Not a sentry placed on the team of Helix Prime, we do see one there, but the vision right now completely in favor of Vulnus Mortale, who is pulling the EFG.
If she had about 60% here, Camazotz is lurking on the backside, but is getting poked up by this percent. EFG is about 50%, getting leashed a little bit. Emojo's just holding it. Holding it. They're looking for an opportunity. EFG does get dropped. Chalk does go in. Ganesh ult is dropped here. Camazotz is looking at the Chalk. He backs off. Both teams are kind of just trading poke right
That's
now.
2 ults out of Prime side, however, we see all 5 still on Vulnus Mortale, who's definitely posturing themselves as more favorable right now.
Definitely. They did manage to push them off EFG though, so Ganesh's ult is a very low cooldown. I will like to mention that. He does have 30% CDR as well, so that may be up for the next team fight. EFG is about 60% pulled again. Do see minions on the Titan as well as this is getting pulled. EFG is about 10%. We do see Bologna in there. They do the Phoenix does come back up, but they do not manage actually, excuse me, to get that Fire Giant. Minions are on the Titan. Titan is about 30% here. They're going to start running it down. Kevizot's ult is forced out. He does go back in for this Pesta as he knows he's not going to be able to take a pick. Chalkhole is dropped here. Does get the silence off. Excellent poke from both of them. Do manage to shut down the Kevizot's there. It's going to be a 4v5 versus an EFG push. This is a make or break play. They do manage to...
Ooh, very good ult coming out of Morgan Le Fay, but not enough damage.
Oleron ult is dropped as well. First ult dropped. Bastet is in this backline and is just demolishing these backliners. Morgan does manage to live there. Medusa trades her out. Persephone does pick up the Bologna. Ganesha might live. He does not manage to live there, unfortunately, and Titan is going to go down here. Very, very well played from Vulnus Mortale in that fight.
Good pacing, good way to keep the pressure on this team who had their gold lead and did not throw it away there. Heck of a fight out of Helix Prime, though, there at the Titan defense room. So, really good game. I'm excited for round 2.
Yeah, definitely. That was quite action-packed. Shall see you all on the desk once we're back.
Hello and welcome back to the desk. I'm here with a double A on the desk. My name is Semantics, and we just watched, Vulnus Mortale versus Helix Prime. Vulnus Mortale able to get that first kill in this, that first win in this best of 3 for the semifinals. Here in the, I believe it's the Vanaheim division, correct?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, what a game. We do see Vulnus Mortale from Midgard coming in here, going to take down the number 1 seed in the first game. I mean, who would have expected that to happen? Helix Prime, well-fought game, but in the end it did go the way of Vulnus Mortale, and they earned it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, what was it? Jotunheim. Same deal happened, right? The first seed went down to the semis, and then am I right? The first seed went down to the semis.
Jotunheim.
I do believe so.
Midgard.
Yeah.
Both the first and second seed are out. So
yeah.
Make sure you stick around for that because that'll be probably next week. We'll stream that game.
Oh no, I was talking about Jotunheim. Not no, the one that we already watched. We already cast everything. But it doesn't matter.
That was a
either way.
Seed, but yeah, anyway.
Either way, looking at the early game here, I think Helix Prime actually had a few good jungle rotations. They got some pressure into duo because of it, and then moving on from there, it became the Arxil on Persephone game near mid, and then late game it was all Yamoja Olaron, honestly. So it went from basically a jungle diff to a mid diff to a duo diff, honestly. And then it was just after the enhanced fire giant, it was it was all GGs from there for the Vulnus Mortale. Great performance on Olaron. Sold short 11-3 to end that with 34,000 damage. And really, nothing Helix Prime could have done, honestly, against that Oleron. Maybe looking to ban out Oleron or even a Persephone. I would say even Persephone there could be a good ban to get Helix Prime on their toes and get Vulnus Mortale off of those pretty signature picks, I'd say, on Arxel and Sold Short.
Yeah, definitely. I know Persephone, like I said, Arxel's kind of main over in the mid lane. Yeah, it was really annoying to play against. Obviously, we saw those ultimates come out and just snare a few Medusa at one point over the dual lane, just couldn't get away because of the ultimate. Sold Short, yeah, kind of a monster on that. Oleron played really well. At one point was 1v2ing on a tower, on a Phoenix line, I should say, and ended up getting the kill out of it. Did go down, but I mean, he survived quite a long time, just kind of able to heal up in time, and yeah, late game. I mean, there was nothing stopping him with those ultimates coming out, shredding
Yeah.
people down, and throwing his 2 down as well, and then area damage. I mean, there was just so much damage coming out. And then Yamoja, yeah, Yamoja's right there with him. So, great team play. I mean, this like I said, this Vulnus Mortale team definitely earned it. They deserve that game. Helix Prime, there's a lot to build on, but they played very well themselves. I think this is kind of a nice little starting game, and then if they can bring it back here in game 2, get the mentals still in the right place even after that first game loss, they could come back with a vengeance for sure.
No, for sure. Gudvilded, I think, actually had a very good performance on jungle. You know, did what he could to try to keep the team in the game. Like I said, early ganks kind of got him ahead. I think they got 5 kills early and then Volnus obviously caught up and took the lead. And notably, Cutlip here is subbing from a lower division here onto the into the support here on the Ganesha. Um, and I like to say that there was maybe a little bit of spark of life there, even in mid, whenever they made that call for Oni Fury. You were thinking, oh, hey, they're pretty far behind. And then you see like maybe some good comms come into play, sneak a Oni Fury. Maybe they can get themselves back in. But then from there, it wasn't too long after that the fire giant was going down for Vulnus Mortale. And honestly, the name of the game was Persephone. Into the name of the game was Sold Short on that Ola run. So unfortunate there for Helix Prime, but we are going to be going into a game 2, see if maybe Vulnus Mortale can bring it back, or can end out this set, or if Helix Prime can bring it back.
Definitely. We'll be right back with some more action. Smite fans, Vulnus Mortale take game 1 against the number 1 seed here in Vanaheim, Helix Prime. We're going to go ahead and get started in these picks and bans. Get the game going for you guys. Once again, I am joined with Semantics.
Hi, everybody. Obviously, like I said, I'm Semantics, and as we get into the picks and bans, I want to see Persephone gone. Personally, I don't think she should be in this game, and actually, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind not seeing Oleron either.
Oh, looks like you're going to get your wish. The first ban out from Helix Prime is going to be that Oleron. Wreaked havoc last game. Just able to kind of melt anybody in front of him, especially with that ultimate there towards the late game. Sold Short doing Oleron justice, and it is going to get banned out. Here, as the first ban. On the other side, Cleo once again.
Good. It only took one game to learn. Get that out of Sold Short's hands. It was a good call there for the Helix Prime to go ahead and ban that. But what is being left open on the side here that they chose to ban this time? We'll see as the bans round out. Persephone coming out for the second ban for Vulnus Mortale along with Klidna.
Yeah, definitely some target bans here. Persephone to get banned out. Or actually, no, that's going to be Vulnus Mortale banning Persephone. My bad. Yeah, definitely an interesting ban. I mean, if you're not going to play it, might as well ban it, in my mind. I mean, it's still really strong in the mid lane. One of probably the premier mid laners, in my mind, at my level. Maybe you disagree with me. But it is going to be banned out as well. Yamoja did justice enough last game to be banned out by Helix Prime.
Right. No, I definitely do not disagree with you there when it comes to Persephone being a strong pick. I think at any level she's strong. Just depends on the pilot, honestly. and she's relatively easy to get her own pressure there. But yeah, Yamoja going ahead and get banned out by Helix Prime. You know, obviously they learned their lesson. They don't want anybody from Duo coming back. Shiva rounding out Vulnus Mortales. You know, basically two of the same, one of the difference, and then Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Yeah, Cthulhu's really good right now. I believe he's going to be receiving a nerf as well sometime soon. But something that's really good over in the solo lane, been played a lot, and potentially going to go into that the Morrigan Cthulhu, whatever.
Oh, you had it right.
Cthulhu times
Cthulhu.
two. Yeah,
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, whatever. I mean, but we'll see if that even gets picked up. I know we've seen it a lot throughout every division in the league so far.
You know, I haven't seen that card art for Nemesis in a while. Actually, that it looks strange to me. I don't know why. Maybe I just haven't looked at Nemesis picks and bans for a little bit. But yeah, Nemesis and Merlin coming out for Vulnus Mortale. Go ahead and get the mid and jungle in place. But hey, here it comes. Cthulhu. We got the Morgan and the Cthulhu in the same set of picks, followed by the Dodgy and Charybdis to round out the first six before we go into the second set of bans.
Yeah, definitely some good pickups. You know, that comp is just so annoying. Dodgy as well, gonna have to look out for those chains. Gonna be flying all around, and you're trying to burn those beads, as well as the knockups from Cthulhu are just gonna be hard to get away from, especially with two of them on the field.
Right. I mean, is there ever a doubt that, you know, if Cthulhu's first picked, who's coming next? Like, there's gonna be a Morgan somewhere. You know, come on. Even though Cthulhu is strong in his own right and able to do a lot of work by himself, what's better than one Cthulhu? Two Cthulhu. That's what's better.
Definitely.
So, as we wait here for the next set of bans to come through, I'm seeing a little bit of safety here in the duo lane. Vulnus Mortale able to get Charybdis there, able to get away with the Whirlpool, the old basically 10 seconds of CC immunity. Bans such as Achilles and Kepri and Geb coming out to round out for Vulnus Mortales. Bans there. Still waiting for Helix Prime to get their last one in, and that is Cabrakan. So all bans in place. What are we expecting to see for the for these next few bans come out? We have a solo, mid, and jungle, so we still have the whole duo lane for Helix Prime to come out.
Yeah, Helix Prime looking to maybe be more aggressive, potentially as we're waiting here. But yeah, I think Ymir picked up as well for Vulnus Mortale, so something that's gonna be able to play against that and do it well. Able to kind of capitalize on him not being able to get away. I know that might be. I know Ymir is gonna work well against the Cthulhu's. So it's gonna be decent going into this comp, but we'll have to see if it works out the way that we would hope it would.
Right. If they find themselves in a jungle fight against the Cthulhu, Ymir is a very good resource there to block them off. Honestly, like blocking off whole corridors there that the Cthulhu can't get by. So Ymir, I think, a very good choice here. Like I said, into jungle team fights, possibly even lane. Because Cthulhu takes up a whole lot of space.
Definitely, we are going to see Apollo and Bacchus come through for Helix Prime to round out their picks. Apollo can be pretty decent. I don't think he's an amazing pickup, kind of middle of the pack for right now, but going to be safe as well, be able to get away with that ultimate or chase somebody down if need be. And then Bacchus coming through, going to be taking that away from the Bacchus team themselves, Vulnus Mortale, as he's going to get picked up for Cutlip, the sub for Helix Prime. So I would assume he's going to be kind of playing that pretty aggressively, trying to get some knockups and get some beads out potentially as well with that Daji. And then lastly, an Osiris pickup. I think that's going to be a pretty decent pickup over in the solo lane. Any thoughts on that, Sam?
I think Osiris is one of the stronger picks in solo lane right now because of like the Death's Toll and the Berserker Shield. As we discussed before, I know the names of them this time. High sustain there when it comes to the cleave auto attacks and the and the ability to hit the entire wave, or at least at one point the brutes, then at another point the archers. But Helix Prime, if you look at their comp and say anything but aggression, yeah, you're just wrong on that, man. There's so much dive. There's so much. Um, the Morgan, not so much himself, but when it goes in the Cthulhu, possibly even the Bacchus, honestly, maybe even the Dodgy. Like if Dodgy burns the beads, turn into the Dodgy again, and then grab him after that, after the fact. A whole lot of aggression on Helix Prime. On the other hand, you see some safety when it comes to Charybdis. You see some very late game burst ability and AoE when it comes to Merlin. The rest of the team basically says, I'm going to dive you. Ymir, Osiris, Nemesis, they want to run at you. Nemesis wants to get that shield on there, neglect some of the damage, reflect some of the damage, and then, get Charybdis and Merlin to late game. And you have a pretty good team comp, I would say, from Vulnus Mortale.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they just kind of drafted to get rid of that Cthulhu, and Nemesis ultimate can come out onto at least one of them, as well as Osiris able to jump away. Charybdis can waste some time in that dash. Merlin's probably the only one in my mind that gets caught a little bit. Ymir, like you said before, going to be placing those walls to try to block off the Cthulhus when they are chasing down his fellow teammates. But I think, yeah, the overall comp, I'm going to say Helix Prime wins just from picks and bans.
See, I would say that until I saw the performance of Vulnus Mortale last game. I'm saying we're getting a quick set here with a good 2-0. And I think best way to know is just to do it. So I think we're gonna be going into a quick pause here, and then we will see King Kerbis and Recurry again.
Alrighty, yeah, we'll be back.
And we are back with Game 2 of the semifinals of the Vanaheim division. I honestly, this draft from both teams is pretty insane. But I believe Desk was valuing Helix here, or rather siding with them. I actually love this Vulnus draft. The Ymir wall is honestly very underrated, especially a little bit less so now. He's getting picked up more, but Aurora pulled that back out. We just see a belt popped here. I'll come back on the topic in a moment. They are trying to clear wave quicker than this other dual lane. So whoever can clear first is going to probably get picks. We do see level 2 on the side of Vulnus Mortale. They do get a stun from the Ymir here on side of this Bacchus. Bacchus is trying to walk away. He doesn't have the belt, so he does not be able to jump away. There's first blood for this Ymir. But that's also another topic, is Ymir just brings so much pressure level 1, level 2, and wave clear as well with the Frostbite passive. But touching back on the wall, especially in jungle fights, it doesn't matter if you have two Cthulhus, if they both can't get past the wall, you're gonna have to cancel that ult. You just see a rotation here onto this Cthulhu. Nem does drop her 2 as well. I don't think the Cthulhu has dash. They're gonna tower dive this. Then he does get a pick.
Osiris got out with that much HP.
Excellent.
Even with the 10% more damage from those towers was not enough to kill him. Yeah, hi, I'm also here, Jordan. King Kerbis over here.
Apologies, Kerbis. I did just
No
want to
worries, boss. There's just a lot going on right off the hop, but I agree with you. The Ymir's got that AoE from his carpet, but also Charybdis with the 2 having the prot shred and the slow. It's an incredibly powerful duo combo, which we haven't seen because Char was banned for a good chunk of the last couple weeks. So I am excited to see this duo lane.
Even disregarding the prot shred, which is hard to disregard with how powerful that is. She has one of the best Kittens proccing in the game. It does a little bit less damage, but you still can just apply that so quickly to a Cthulhu, it's very hard to miss. I also would like to note, I believe that Osiris lived purely off of his passive. He had full passive, and that's 16% physical damage reduction.
Was
pretty
just
excellent.
enough, yeah. And we're seeing high aggressive over here. Something we didn't see. He put a lot of pressure over here. J2 was doing it in the duo lane previously, but I guess with the double kill going in the favor already for Vulnus, he's moving his shift over into that solo lane, hoping to put some pressure there. We do see a purple snagged.
It's also a 3-man rotation for that blue buff just to make sure that Cthulhu stays in the game. That honestly, I do fully agree with this pressure on the side of solo from J2, just making sure that Cthulhu knows that he's not allowed to get free farm, making sure that blue buff is under pressure, so you have to force farm split on the side of Helix Prime.
Yeah, and Osiris is incredibly aggressive lane boxing bully. I mean, probably one of the best boxing characters in tie or out of, even with Bologna. But we are going to see some quick aggression here, so maybe I'll let you take it over.
Bacchus is still holding onto a swap. Excellent knock-up cancel from the Charybdis. She does have the beads, does not manage to beat the knock-up though from the Bacchus. Good peel there
Yep.
from Cutlip. Sub is
Very
still
good
proving-
kill over there from yeah, like you said, Cutlip. You know, playing very good into this team. He is, you know,
Yes.
like we said, a couple divisions below, but definitely not showing it.
I mean, again, touching back on the team fights though, like with this Ymir wall, do see a little bit of pressure here in mid. Dodgy is actually, oh, she is looking for a gank here. Does have her ult. She is looking at this Nem. I don't know if the Nem has beads, as we don't have the thing pulled up. Nemesis does have beads there, so it is no picks opportunity outside of maybe baiting relics there.
Looked like maybe just a little bit of a damage check there from Dodgy, and Dodgy very quickly realizing she does not have enough damage available online right now to really do anything. So just kind of a dash on with her 3 and then a slowly peel away.
One thing to note, although Charybdis just did gain her ult, so it's gonna kind of negate anything I say here. But she did have no beads because she beads aggressively earlier. Dodgy could have looked for an opportunity. We do see an excellent dash into a knock-up here. Mez as well onto this Charybdis. Paulo does drop his beads. Charybdis is looking for a push, does manage to fluff the push. No body blocks here coming up for the Bacchus. He's trying, doesn't manage to get it. Does burp and he's going to pick up the kill, at least in trade. But that is an excellent pick up there from Soul Troy. Very well played. We see
Very
mids
well into that
going.
2v1 there. We are going to see Nem kind of aggress in, so I'll hold my thought.
Dodgy ult does get forced out here. We do have a Cthulhu transformation as well. For the Morgan, she is extremely tanky at this stage. Even now is dropping a knockup. She's going to go down for the amount of shred that is coming up from the Merlin. And unfortunately from the Nemesis, that is the other topic I was going to talk about earlier, which is that Nem ult as well. You can pick a Cthulhu that gets walled out, and you just drop ult, and they are no longer a Cthulhu. They are now just a walking squishy. A giant meat bully. You just poke them out, kill them, shred them with kins, shred them with whatever you want to shred them with. Probably gonna have 2 kins in this comp, to be honest, with the Nemesis as well. Just see a little bit of boxing here on this red buff Bacchus does ult to secure it. Very well played there from Cutlip.
Might seem a little bit goofy, but securing that for his mid is very important. And you know, this Vulnus really seemed to have drafted around playing into that Cthulhu. You know, the Merlin, which nobody's really touched on too much, but having that, you know, flame stance where it's got the prot shreds and the tick damage is going to be really impactful in this mid game, where we're going to see those, you know, single Cthulhu transformations, whether it be in mid or not. And that's really going to shred down, especially like you said, if it's walled off by that Ymir.
Yep, they just have so much shred across this entire draft. I believe every character has some form of shred or just way of stopping this Cthulhu's outside of the Osiris, funnily enough. But I think he's just there to make sure the Cthulhu's in check, free lane pressure, making sure that he can't get out of that lane for free, pretty much.
Yeah,
interesting
I
that-
definitely agree that most of the draft is been definitely formed around that prot shred, and I think Osiris is just there for some, you know, backline aggression, high damage solo laner who really doesn't have to build into the damage to get it. Do see a little bit of a gold lead ticking over into Vulnus Mortale. You know, 2 grand. We don't see any of the neutral farms gone down, so definitely still anyone's game, but kind of favoring a little bit from Vulnus just in these team fights so far, or I guess I should say 3v3s.
Well, you just see a little bit of aggression here on this left side mids. Bacchus does pop in. This is a bit dangerous as Ymir can turn if he wants to. Still opts to wall the mid here. Do see a Cthulhu ult popped again, but does not just manage to live. Gets nuked in that team fight. Very unfortunate. Cut the lip goes down as well. Very well played there from the Ymir. He could have turned on that. Excuse me. He could have turned on cut lip when he jumped in, but kept the pressure up on that mid. Gets both picks instead. Very, very nice. This,
Big aggressive pick, you know,
yes.
Ymir. I personally love Ymir's support. He is highly aggressive. The wall, single-handedly his best ability. How we were talking about previously with Yamoja's 3 being one of her best. Ymir's wall, very similar utility use, you know, kind of controlling where people are going. Definitely slept on a little bit, I think.
I think one good thing to note as well is he did just receive a buff recently. If I recall correctly, it went from 18 seconds flat to where if you rank your freeze, it goes down to 16 seconds, which is, albeit long, still very substantially. Like, if you don't build cooldown, or if you build minimal cooldown, that 2 seconds is quite a lot. You see Dodgy rotating over here on the Cyrus. If Cyrus does not have beads, he has TP, so if he does commit the ult, he's going to get pulled. Dodgy does
Ooh,
wait,
early.
so she manages to land the chain. She does not, unfortunately, but if that was a chain, Cyrus is just dead there. Nem is here, so she can look for a rotation if once this Cthulhu goes down.
Cthulhu just taking up our whole screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very good hold. A little bit early ult there by the Osiris, who could have got caught out. Luckily, was not hit by any of those chains. Would have probably preferred him to hold that CC immunity ult to get out of the chains, but that's okay. Still ended up in his benefit. Build-wise, I do notice some little odd here. You know, the Daji first item going into Hydras. What do you think of that? I know it's got some pen, it's got some cooldown, but first item seems a little bit of out of place for me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's the best, as Flat Pen has always been a super dominant thing. You can see it now with ADC builds. Obviously, not showing in these games because both ADCs are going Devos, which is also very potent. But ADCs, mids, jungles, in some cases, like even supports with Stone of Binding are always going Flat Pen. It's just extremely good. Flat Pen's been one of the most nerf stats that I can think of in Smite. And yeah, I think the Hydra still gets value, as you can kind of hit tanks a little bit more. The extra burst proc on the one, she is getting chased out here. Oh my goodness, excellent dash there from Daji.
And as you were noting, the Devo's Glove picked up. We do see them completed by Char, who's actually going to hold that thought as we go into a team fight. Daji ult.
Belt pop over here on the side of Vulnus Mortale. Daji does get a few pulls, but she is running very low HP here. It is the Morgan, I should mention. Other Daji ult because it landed here. She's looking for people that just burned beads off of the previous Daji ult. Does not manage to catch anyone, and now she has to run out. Cthulhu is the last one in here. His ultimate is up soon, but it is not going to be able to get anything off in time. Cryptus does manage to pick up Cut Lip there on the side. Samir is running for his life, does get picked up by the Cthulhu ult that just came up. He is looking to start pressuring into this fight, but he is getting shredded by this Merlin damage. Does manage to pick the Merlin up in time. Does die though to the Osiris that comes in the late rotation. Overall, 2 for 3 fight. What are you thinking here for the side of Helix Prime?
These engagements definitely, they seem to be pretty staggered on their side. A lot of retreating, unfortunately. So this Chartabus is just doing so much work, and it's really hard for them to lock down a Chartabus. You know, that 3-second basically bead at Aegis with her 3 is insane, and it makes it really hard for Daji to get onto him and stay on. And he's just doing a lot of work. We have top damage right now, 4,500 gold. I think that's the main problem for them at the moment in these team fights.
They're gonna have to find some way to stop this bleeding soon, as if they don't, honestly, this is gonna be extremely rough with the draft they have going. This is a very mid to late game oriented draft. You have these double Cthulhu fights, obviously, but even then, like, if this Morgan wants to transform into a Daji, or let's say maybe one of the backliners from the side of Vulnus, you still want that Daji to be doing her own damage outside of that, like getting that initial burst off. That's going to be a bit rough. Apollo is a character you want to be ahead. You want him to be ulting into that backline, or you get no value out of that ult instead of just rotating. So a bit worried here for Helix. They do just need to either chill out or try to find a way to keep this aggression off of their buffs, keep this aggression off of the objectives. You see Daji looking around for this Ymir. Ymir doesn't have beads up right now. They are on cooldown.
We are seeing about a 1 to 2 level in every other section. We do see a 4-level difference, though, in those carries. That's where the biggest difference maker. And like I said, we're going to have to see an answer for that Chartabus, who now backed and got a full item and a T2 as well. We do see an ult coming out of Daji. He is looking to try to get her.
Does manage to get a few plucks in, but the team is chasing after the Spockus instead. Does manage to just force out... I don't believe any beads there. She does just get a pluck. TP is down from the Osiris. He is rotating over to this gold fight. Daji's getting gone with no way to get out. She's more than likely going to get picked here. Excellent stun from the Osiris. And that's just death. They're going to look back to gold. Cthulhu is going in. They are dropping this double Cthulhu, but again, with them being so far behind, they are just getting demolished. This Cthulhu is about to go down. He does manage to pick up somebody. In the meantime, but this Merlin does secure the kill. That is the EDC unfortunately gone on the side of Vulnus Mortale, so gold may take a while to go down here, but it may not matter as this Bacchus is going to go down as well for a deicide for Vulnus Mortale.
Yeah. He is bouncing around. Oh, there we go. J2 able to get it finally with the last ability.
So split deicide there, they do manage to pick up gold. There's a huge gold difference now at this stage of the game. 7k almost for Vulnus Mortale. I mean, again, I'm not sure how else they are supposed to split this up. It's just starting to spiral, and eventually this is going to get to the point where this might just be game off of the gold difference.
Yeah, unlike we saw in game 1, we did see these teams a lot closer up until some of these neutral farms, but pretty much from the beginning here, Vulnus has really been pushing on the gas, really been moving it.
Yep, we do see a bit more posing over here in this. Actually, excuse me, I did not see the Cryptos there. She is just going to a purple. I guess they're just going to keep trying to farm up a little bit more, get that gap just a little bit wider. There are no objectives up right now on the map outside of these obelisks for the duo side, so...
Fire
like
Giants
the-
up, or Curry.
Obviously, but I was going to get that to that. I was going to say Vulnus should probably be putting the pressure on. This is definitely, I think, the stage of the game where they can be looking for fights over on this fire side. Have this group just rotate. But I think she has a bigger prize in her eyes with this Apollo. She is hunting him down. That is her dash down, but Apollo's is also down. She might be able to clip her soul through the wall here. Excellent Mez there.
Ooh, good
Apollo.
Mez.
His dash should be up before this Charybdis.
Oh, but gets caught out by Merlin, who ends up picking up the quick kill.
That is definitely what they want to be looking for. They do get obelisks as well, so that's extra gold in their pockets. They're probably going to start heading over to this fire giant. Cthulhu is
by
poked
Arxil.
out. So
Oh, they're about the same. Just doing their beatdown pillow fights over in solo. Weezer doing a pretty good job, even though his team's facing down. He is typically diving that 1v3 and managing to get a single pick for his effort most of the time.
see a little bit of pressure over here in the mid tier 1. Honestly, they're getting poked out. Mid just has to back. Helena's super poked out. Varai does is back up with that Apollo ult, so he can come back in if they want to force even deeper. But I think they're just trying to back off here. Speed buff is going to get stolen away here more than likely. Does go to the side of Vulnus. They are looking at this mid tier 2 as well instead of forcing a Pyro. It's going to be extra 300 gold per person. Very nice.
You had mentioned you were thinking of double kins here with the Nemesis, but it looks like J2 opting for more of an ability-styled build, going Jotun Hydras into Runeforge. I'll hold that thought as Evotic chases down Helenu, takes him out in the Phoenix.
Again, just this level gap is extremely difficult to deal with. And yes, the ability build, I honestly don't see an issue with that either. I think Nemesis is one of those characters, very similar to like an Erlang, for example, where you can genuinely build her however you feel. If you feel like an ability Nem one day, you can do this build maybe with like a Heartseeker and a Titans. If you feel like running auto attack, you can do like a A cancel build, or you can just do a full auto attack build. Also really good with tankiness. The character can just genuinely be built pretty much any way. There's no issue with that.
Yeah, Nemesis, I think, is probably my staple character of you can really flex builds. That's one of the gods that I can see multiple paths and them all being really viable. I was waiting to see if that Merlin was able to get the pull-in from his 2, but he does dive. And we do see a quick Mez and ult from Apollo, who's just looking to get out, not get picked by that Merlin again.
Does not have any wards on this duo side, so he doesn't even want to take that fight. There's also a 3-level gap, but he does have double life, or excuse me, full devos, so he could have fought that. Charybdis is just looking to push this tier 1 tower on the solo side. And I believe we might start seeing fire be on the table with the ADC over here in the solo side.
I'm just taking a look. Yeah, we see still technically double lifesteal if you count death toll here from the Charybdis. So possibility for him to definitely look at the fire giant, but it looks like they're more focused on this tower, or maybe getting a pick.
A tower would be good too, as that's extra gold in the pocket. And one thing to note here is this Charybdis does not have any form of penetration in her build right now. While that's not a bad thing, as she still does have Kins, Kins is going to do a lot of work for her. If she gets gone on by 2 Cthulhus, she will shred them, but it'll be much slower than if she already had her pen. You see Dodgy going in on the Nemesis here, does not manage to get any burst off as the Nemesis. Retribution Shield does manage to just reflect all that damage. They are looking
Nem
actually at
shield
a
just
Phoenix
insane. They're
here.
going all the way. Like, insane amount of pressure. Must not want to possibly posture for that fire giant. Just looking to be a nuisance at this point.
Dodgy, very, very good trigger finger in that ult there, instead opting to try to get to her teammate, saving the ultimate ability. Is gonna get out. Cthulhu's also have HP here over in the solo lane.
I think Cthulhu's dash was also caught there. We do see Amir miss a freeze on nobody. I saw it.
Gold is going down slowly but surely. It's jungler and the support taking out that Gold Fury. Again, while I respect playing a bit safer, I would like to see Vulnus play a bit more aggressive toward this fireside. Once they get one or two of these picks like they have been, just trying to have your support ADC probably. Just pull, you can have your mid lurking around. I think Merlin is definitely more susceptible to this Cthulhu dive. So you can have him play either a bit more back or on the side along with the jungler, the solo.
I agree. It gives a little bit more of a playing with your food feel here when they're sitting in front of their Phoenix. Whether it's just unintentional or not, they really should be grouping up and, like you said, looking for this objectives more.
Just
We
see
do see a
Dodgy
dive.
ult drop here. Cryptus beads are dropped, does not manage to tether anyone else. Ymir ult is actually dropped, does not manage to
Helen,
get
who
anyone.
does
The
end up
Cryptus
picking
goes
up
down.
a kill there.
Cthulhu ult is cancelled actually. I'm not sure if that was a mistake. He does manage to dash out, probably just saving it for the dash. And that might actually have been the play as he manages to get out. Ymir wall does not catch his mark. And it
Huge heads
appears
up
that-
play there. Yeah, he was able to get out.
Unfortunate.
Backing here is a little bit more questionable, but he does able to
Merlin
get
does
it out.
Merlin does manage to pick up Varai over on the duo side, not just before getting a tier 2 tower.
Did you just see that Ymir wall off the final burp damage from Bacchus so that they didn't get stunned? An
was
incredible play there by Half.
Very nice. Doubles that for me. Okay. Anyhow, back on this. Do see a Ymir wall here locking at this Cthulhu, and he does have to go around. Very nicely played there from the Ymir. Does drop the root to peel himself out. This is just a very awkward situation for both Vulnus and Helix. Both ADCs are dead, so it's very hard to pull any objectives. And obviously the only objective up being fire at this point, outside of Obelisk. So,
We are seeing very kind of moving over to that left, probably looking to get a split push, possibly as they do this fire giant dance. Maybe put some pressure. I do see Morgan
do
over
see
there as well.
Fire
Though.
also pulled. Cthulhu might be sniffing this out. He does see a couple people lurking around. Fire is about 60%, 50%. It's melting very quickly with the draft. Merlin and Crib is just melting. That is going to go to the side of Vulnus Mortale. Very nice. It's a lot more of that raw aggression that I was hoping to see. They're just going to start pushing objectives a lot more cleanly this time, hopefully. Again, I'd like to just see this tower go down and this duo side Phoenix. Do see Helunu stripping a bit of farm away from both the purple and the red, so duo side farm's getting stripped away. Red I don't think got dropped as they weren't sure if they had enough time. Vulnus Mortale just running it straight down mid.
It looks like they're looking for a high aggression end, possibly.
One Cthulhu ult is in here. We are looking for the other one, or maybe a dodgy ult. Osiris is just in here, forcing out Relic. Shao is dropped here. Cthulhu is doing a lot of damage in the backline, but that's his entire ult, so that all we have is 3 ults left. Excellent Cryptus ult as well. Second Cthulhu ult is dropped, and she is getting melted a little bit, but does get a lot of excellent heal here from Helenu. He does go down immediately, actually. Oh my goodness. Merlin is gonna pick here, so does the Cryptus.
Phoenix does. Oh no, that's unfortunate. The split push was not enough. Does end up dying. Oh, he does get the Phoenix there in the far left, but we are going to probably see the Titan fall here. And Vulnus Mortale takes game number 2 and the set of the semifinals for Vanaheim.
Very well played. After a little bit of timidness, they finally found their mark and their claws, and they came in, ended the game there. Very well played.
I agree. We'll jump over to desks. Let Double A and Semantics kind of review this game, and it was fun casting with you, Recurry.
Hello and welcome back. We saw Vulnus Mortale go ahead and get the get the set, finish it out. I'm here with Double A, who thinks I never say anything nice about him. So I'm gonna go ahead and say you look very nice today, Double A. Even though I can't
Oh,
see you, I
thanks,
think you
man.
look very nice. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
you're
I mean, we were
welcome.
getting so heartfelt on the cast there. I was wondering, why my partner never talks to me that way. But
Yeah, you're right. I don't give you the greatest introductions known to man, but yeah, sure,
yeah,
sure,
true.
whatever you
Like a
go with how you
WWE intro.
feel.
But
But
anyway, we are going to see Helix Prime sadly getting knocked out of their playoffs. A number one seed going down once again. We did see that in the Midgard division as well. So seeing them get knocked out. Actually, the team that got knocked out that was the number one seed was Vulnus Mortale, and now they're in here and they're winning. I
yeah,
mean, they beat the number one seed here in Vanaheim, which is very unexpected. Great for them. They're going to be heading to the finals now to play against, I believe, Tactically Inting. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that because that's going to be a good one for sure. We'll see if Vulnus Mortale can pull off the ultimate underdog move and come into a division that isn't even theirs and take it for themselves.
right. Yeah, great performance here, all around. Honestly, you don't see too many deaths. You see a whole lot of kills spread out across the board. 3-4-5-4-5. Like all very close, very good team effort. 22.5 minute game, which probably could have been a sub 20 minute game. Like looking at the how that game was going, how much pressure Vulnus Mortale actually had. They played a little safer. Didn't push the billet too hard there near the end until they went ahead and got fire and finished up. Got that last team fight in, finished the game. And honestly, as we pointed out, as the casters pointed out, this comp has a whole lot of shred in it. Honestly, everybody but the Osiris, honestly, who was up against probably the team probably the player Weezer Conundrum on the Cthulhu, who they built this comp around. They just really needed to shred, honestly, especially with two of them coming out there with Hella New on the Morgan. And despite that, I think that Weezer had the team's, best performance over there on Helix Prime. I think he did actually a pretty decent job, despite basically having a whole comp built around shutting him down.
Yeah, Weezer Conundrum, a champion from last season, now playing on his new team here in Helix Prime, but kind of more of a recent pickup as well from them. So yeah, had a great performance here. It was unfortunate there was so many things on the other side that were just there to take him down and get rid of that comp they were trying to build, and obviously it didn't work out for them here. But I mean, in my opinion, the MVP of this game, this entire set, would be sold short. I mean, the man played great. We've seen good performances from him in the past, but this is the best one I've seen so far. So props to him. I mean, that was a great game. Was able to just kind of shred everything. Name changed or J2 had a great game. The second game as well. Had a decent first game, but the second game was really good. And Arxel always kind of that I won't say carry, but kind of the person they're going to be playing around. And yeah, 5-1-9 here on the Merlin, and did pretty well last match as well in the Persephone. So it's gonna be fun to see these guys in the finals. I'm really hoping that they can kind of put up a fight and maybe even pull off another upset.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree that Sold Short did have a very good performance along with Arxil. Arxil, yes, very dependable. Really, what will I say? Like the Shinto to this team or the Paul to this team, the one that they try to get all the farm to and try to get to late game and absolutely just dominate it in the way that he was working here. Don't want to, pat him on the back too hard because honestly, this was a very good team effort.
It was, yeah,
all the
yeah.
way around from Vulnus Mortale.
Yeah, definitely. Ymir played great as well. Yeah, I mean, everyone played great. Helix Prime had a great first game. A little more fight there in that first game, but not a terrible game too either. And they had a great season. I mean, they were able to. They've beaten Tactically Inting in the past, so seeing them beat here as well could be interesting. But yeah, Helix Prime, great season. It was fun watching them when we did catch them on stream. It was always fun to watch these guys, and should be should be fun, kind of seeing if they come back or not, and if we see them in a future season. But it's always fun seeing these Helix teams. We've seen quite a bit throughout the entire league. But
Right, but GG's
yeah,
to eight. I mean, Vulnus Mortale for sure. Not that other name.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Vulnus Mortale. They're past champions too. Won the lowest division last season, Benevolence, back when that was a thing. So here they are, here up 2 divisions since then. So it's always fun to watch these teams come across the divisions, if I can speak, and kind of improve on themselves as well.
Yeah, speaking is overrated, especially when you're a caster. Um, but I do believe you have some things to, some announcements to give out before we close this all down.
Of course, thanks for that great transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Greatest transition in the history of casting.
Yep,
You're welcome.
exactly. Perfect. All right. Um, so yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Vulnus Mortale moving on to the finals. That should be up next week, as well as I want to say Midgard finals are also going to be next week. But what you have look forward to the rest of this week is going to be the Asgard finals. I believe are going to come up sometime this weekend. Time still being set, so keep an eye out on that. Please join the Discord. Please grab that stream announcement roll. That'll keep you updated completely on everything going on with everything Animosity, as well as make sure you're checking out the YouTube. I know there's the links here on Twitch as well as on the Discord, the Twitter as well. I think we reached a pretty high amount of followers, so thanks a lot for doing that. I mean, I really appreciate it, as well as a decent amount of followers here to over 200 on Twitch. So we're growing, and I really appreciate the support, guys. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm just gonna say thanks to the casters as always. I really appreciate the help. A great job from all these guys throughout the entire season. A lot of the guys here on cast today have been kind of holding strong throughout the entire season. So I do really appreciate the continued support from them as well. And these teams should be a good one to see in the finals. And thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you here on, I think, Sunday or Saturday this weekend. But we'll catch you later. See ya.